I'm not an idealist. See, idealists think that the idea of an objective, solid, independent world beyond your experiences simply doesn't exist, and that anything that suggests this independent reality is an illusion. That's not my position. This is my position. It's a little bit different. I'm having a subjective experience. In fact, I would probably say that what I am is a subjective experience. Within that subjective experience, in order to organize it, I break it down into various categories, like emotions are a category of subjective experience, or colors on objects is a category of subjective experience. Well, here's another important category of subjective experience. There are subjective experiences that are very consistent across time. So I've got a rock here and I'm having a rock experience. I just picked it off the ground. Now, presumably, I drop it. If I came back here and found that rock, the rock that I pick up tomorrow would be an awful lot like the rock experience that I would have tomorrow would be very, very similar to the rock experience I'm having today. And even if I came back in a year and I found that particular rock, my rock experience would be quite consistent across every single time that I go and find that rock. Also, it's not just consistent across my experience. If I were to point out that rock to you and tell you where to find it, you would show up and most likely you would have basically the same rock experience. And you could come back in a year, go find that rock, and you would have the same rock experience. So it's consistent across time, and it's also consistent across conscious agent. I'm a conscious agent, you're a conscious agent, and when we take that rock, we both have, even though we're two different conscious agents, we would have the same rock experience. So, but it's still a subjective experience. These are characteristics of the subjective experience. The fact that it's consistent across, has these consistent characteristics, its color, its feel, its weight, where it happens to be located unless somebody moves it, and also consistency across conscious agent. When a particular experience has those characteristics, we label it as objective. And we say that it has independent existence. But obviously, it should be obvious because it is obvious, but it's not something that people usually think about. The idea that the rock is there when like nobody's experiencing it, it's a cliche philosophic conundrum, but it's a really important one. In fact, it's kind of the main philosophic conundrum. It's obviously we don't know for sure that the rock is there when we're not looking at it. It's by definition that we can't know. But we just say, for simplicity's sake, that the rock is there, is just always there, and we say that it's objective, and we say that it's independent. But that metaphysical leap, you shouldn't take that. The metaphysical leap of saying that it's literally independent is unprovable and not important. So the things that we call objective are simply a category of subjective experience. So if you imagine it as a Venn diagram, traditional realists see a great big circle, which is like the real objective world, and then they take our subjective experiences and they imagine those as a circle within the bigger circle. Well, I think they've got it all wrong if you look carefully. Actually, what we label as objective is a subcategory of what is subjective. That is to say that objective things like the rock that is still back there, even though I dropped it, that is a subcategory of a much larger grouping, which is simply the experience that I'm having. So objectivity is a subgroup of subjectivity. It is simply, we say something that is objectively true or objectively exists when it happens to have certain characteristics, when the experience has certain characteristics.